Hi guys and gals, today we're going to talk about the squat. More specifically, we're going to cover the front squat and the goblet squat. I already have a video about the squats. I go through a lot of details that you should consider while doing the squat. I'm going to put a link up in here so you're going to learn about the squat, the conventional, the back squat first, and then you're going to understand the things that I'm going to say. But anyway, we're going to cover a few issues once more. Now, as mentioned in that video, for you to do the squat in the best possible way, you need to bring the bar up and down in a straight line. In another word, if you go back and go forward, you're gonna lose your balance. So you need to bring it up and down in a straight line. I also have a video about a squat with the Smith machine, and I said, although you should bring it up and down straight, but it's not the best option. The reason is we all have restrictions in our body because of the anatomical issues and the flexibility of our muscles, and I already have a video. I'll go through the details. And anyway, I say that it might not be 100% straight, it might be a little bit angled, some part of the movement or the range of motion, and it can be a little bit curved. So it might not be 100% straight, but still you need to make sure that you bring it up and down as straight as you can. So you need to make sure that that happens, and you need to work on the flexibility that you have to make sure you bring it up and down straight, because you want to have the best balance to be able to lift the heaviest that you can. Now, in the video that I have about the squats, I tell you that there are mainly 4 joints that are gonna determine the movement of your body during the exercise. The first is gonna be the ankle, the second is gonna be the knee, the third is the hip, and the fourth is gonna be your spine. Now, there are a lot of joints in your spine, but it's the least important one because you need to keep it as straight as you can to do the exercise safely. Because if you curve it too much, it's gonna be bad for the back, and if you extend it too much, so hyperextension of the spine is also a bad option. But you have a little bit of range of motion, specifically with the thoracic spine, so you can play with it a little bit as well, but it's not that much important compared to the other factors. So if you put the spine aside, the positioning of the hip, knee, and the ankle is gonna be the most important, and you can determine that with the first thing that you do, which is the positioning of the feet. I tell you in that video that everything is gonna be determined by the feet. Now, we're not gonna cover everything as well. I just watch that video, you're gonna learn more. First, we're gonna start with the back squat, and then when we go to the front squat, you're gonna understand what I mean. We need to come up and down in a straight line, not as straight as we can. Now let's bring it forward here. Now for both of them, the feet positioning was the same, but as you notice, when the bar was on my back, it was a little bit different. The reason is the few centimeters difference in the distance that they had. So when the bar was on my back, again, for me to bring it straight up and down, when I put the knee forward, I need to hinge the hip back more, and that causes me to keep my chest forward as well, because I need to keep the bar in the good position. Because it's on my back, I need to keep it straight. So what that causes is that I'm gonna stretch the lower back a lot more, the glute a lot more, the hamstring a lot more, and the calf a lot more. The reason, starting from the calf, when the knee goes forward, this is gonna be stretched more, and when the hip hinges more, or the flexion of the hip is more, the hamstring is gonna be a stretch more, the glute is gonna be a stretch more, and because the chest comes forward, the lower back is gonna be a stretch more. Aside from that, you also need to have a better thoracic extension or the extension of the spine. So if you're kyphotic, it's just really hard for you to do the back squat because you need to bring the arms back. So if you've got flexibility issues in your calf, in your hamstring, in your glute, in your lower back, or in the chest area, it's just gonna be really hard for you to do the back squat. But if you compare it to the front squat, now this time, because the bar is in front, now there is a few centimeter difference in the positioning of the bar. Even my body positioning in the beginning of the exercise is different. With this one, my chest is a little bit more forward. With this, I'm a little bit more back. Now, also my arms are forward, so if I've got restrictions in my chest, so if I've got flexibility issues, I cannot bring it back, or I just have a hypertrophic posture, it's going to be easier for me to do the front squat. And also, because the bar is in front, as you can see, I'm not bending my knee too much forward, so the hip stays in the back a little bit more. And because the hip is not gonna flex that much as well, the stretch on my lower back is not that much as well. So the stretch on the lower back is less. I don't need to bring my arms too much back, so I can hold the weight here as well. The stretch on my glute is not gonna be that much. The stretch on my hamstring is not gonna be that much. And because I do not bring the knee too much forward, the stretch in my calf is not gonna be that much either. But if I have knee issues, it's gonna be a little bit challenging for me because it's gonna be really hard on the quads. The quads are gonna be stretched a lot, and the patella is gonna be under a lot of stress because the quad is really getting stretched. So if you've got knee issues, this probably is not a good idea. It's best to go back. But if you've got tightness on the back of your body, it's better to go forward. Now, there are a lot of variations with a dumbbell or a kettlebell or, I don't know, a medicine ball or any kind of resistance. Even the front squat with a resistance band is another variation to do this exercise, but all of them are gonna be the same. So the things that we just talked about are gonna be the same for all of them.